I'm going to try to do this short. What have I learned? What's different? What has changed? What's my view, different views about life, living in a van for 9 months? I moved into this van, which is a 1998 Chevy Express 1500 half-ton, 5.0 liter, which is a 305 Chevy motor. The transmission just died, which is a 4L60E. I have a new one bought and paid for, shipped from Smart Transmissions, Street Transmission. What? I feel like there's a smart in there somewhere. Street Smart Transmission? Whatever. So they're coming. It's getting delivered on the 13th, which is 2 days, and it'll be installed by somebody, like a local garage in Lynn, for like $700. So overall, it's going to cost me about $2,200 in total, which sucks, but I do get a new transmission. So, like I've always said to people, you get a new transmission, you get a new car, because everything else is, engines are maintainable. You can keep a motor. Don't overheat it. Don't let the oil get dirty, and just pray the oil pump doesn't die. But for the most part, you can keep a motor. It's not a hydraulic, complicated mess of parts. A motor is fairly simple. It just needs to be lubricated and it needs to be cool, and that's it. It doesn't like heat, and it doesn't like to be frozen in the winter. So you got to make sure you have antifreeze in there for the winter environments. You want to make sure you have coolant in there, because coolant has, it's like a lubricant, and it also has anti-corrosive properties. So otherwise, water would be your best thermal conductor, just water and water alone. But you don't want it to freeze in the winter, because that will crack a block. You don't want it to overheat in the summer, because that will destroy it. You don't want the oil to be dirty, mainly because you don't want the oil to lose its lubrication characteristics, and you don't want it to get dirty and clog up little holes and ports and where the water has to flow through. Keep things lubricated. So that's it. Keep your oil super clean, oil filter, oil change all the time. Do it more than you should, actually. If you're going to do it 3,000 to 5,000 miles, man, it's not going to kill you to do it every 2 to 3, honestly. If you live in your vehicle, your perspective of your vehicle changes. Like for me, I've been fixing cars my whole life, and I had a minivan before this. I had a 1999 Dodge Grand Caravan, which I used for work. I gave it away to my sister-in-law. I've had it for about 5 years overall. And I changed that oil when I got to Vegas. And at that point, it was almost about 4 years since I ever changed the oil. Now, mind you, it did have a very slow oil leak, so maybe once every 2 months, I'd have to put in about a quart, maybe. So over time, it was getting flushed out, I guess. I don't know, but it was years without an oil change. Now, living in a vehicle, which you recognize becomes your house, your home, your vehicle, your transportation, everything. Going to get an oil changed becomes a huge priority. Like this transmission. After this thing is installed, I would say after maybe a couple thousand miles, I'll probably do a fluid change in that transmission, and a filter change. Like, no kidding. I will maintain this thing I'll maintain it as if it's on its last leg. That will be my mentality towards it. Like it's about to die unless I replace the fluid. It's on its last little limb, and I'm just keeping it alive by replacing its fluid. That's how I'm going to look at it, because it's such a huge, huge thing. So when your car is your transportation and your home all in one, these upkeeps become like health. Like if you're a diabetic and you need insulin every day, it's kind of like that. I mean, it's very, very serious. And it might sound stupid to some people, but if you live in your vehicle, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Today is a weird day. It's 83. Real feels about 85 right now. I'm sweating. It's super humid. Otherwise, it's been like low 70s last couple weeks. The rest of the week is going to be super chill. Nice. I like it. I've learned that I like the wintry kind of weather more than I do summer. I've always thought I was a summery person. Shorts, tank top, live on the beach, palm trees. No, I'm not. That is nice. That is awesome. Having your van parked on the side of a beach like I did when I was in Florida and opening up my side doors and the water's like right next to me. Epic. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. If you're surrounded by water, I think it's totally different. But if you're just in the city in a parking lot like right now and the sun is just beaming down and cooking you inside a box while you're making a video, so you have the fan on super, super low so it doesn't interfere with the video, and you're fucking sweating, yeah, it sucks. But I want it to be colder. It was cold, frigid, like it is every year, January and February. And I lived here in this van way more comfortable than I did throughout this whole summer. So this summer was pretty rough. We had some heat waves, which we do pretty much every year. But these ones were really bad, like high 90s in the real fields, 104, 105, I think, one day. And all I did most of the summer, most of July anyways, and a lot of August, was I just, in the mornings, I'd wake up. Well, first of all, I'd wake up sweating to death because I go to bed late and I wake up late, like 9:30, 10 a.m. sometimes. And by that time, the sun is already up 4 hours, cooking its way through my windows, right? And like these windows would just one window would be hot, depending on which way the van was. You know, this would just be like an oven. And of course, the fan would be on all night. It always is. And God damn, it just sucked. And I'd get up and I'd drive to this Walmart that's built over its parking lot, and I would just sit in there to get shade from the sun, start the car, turn the AC on, open up my curtains, and I would just sit here all day and in the AC of the car or out of the sun. And I did that for sometimes a whole week at a time, and that was life. So when you don't have a home, an apartment, or a house in that aspect, or an RV or something, a little different, I guess, but still, shore power is going to be a thing. But if I had an AC, I mean, you're still trapped. I mean, if you have nothing to do, if you're not going to work, for somebody like myself who works for themselves, I don't work unless somebody calls me. I don't work unless it's a certain time of year. Either it's July or August and super hot and people need their AC fixed, or it's December, January, February and people are freezing to death and need their heat fixed. That's really the only time I get called. Luckily, I make enough money in the summer to kind of last me into the beginning of the, like, October, late September, October. And, you know, coming out of the winter into late spring, early summer, I'm usually okay. But I've learned that I like a cooler climate. Stealth. Living stealth in a vehicle in the city. I think you're not fooling anybody. I think if you're in a place, an environment where you are surrounded by other cars, other people in their cars, and it's like a normal thing throughout that city, it's a normal thing where people live in their cars and you're one of them and you're in a van with a roof vent, and people are not dumb. Cops are not dumb. People know you're living in your van. I think being in certain urban environments, I think there's a lot more going on in the city than to worry about you living in your car. I think some certain suburbs, I wouldn't go park on the side street of a suburb somewhere. You're a sore thumb. If nobody in that area knows you, oh, you're getting called on immediately. No, I wouldn't do that. Stealth is for places you're not supposed to be, and you're really trying to hide it, and or just try to blend in a certain environment, certain atmosphere. But if you're in the city like this, like a parking lot like this, where you're surrounded by other people who are living in their cars, everybody knows you're living in your car. Everybody knows those people living in their cars. Everybody sees you. You're parked here most of the day. I've been here for 2 days now. I'm trying not to drive my van until it gets fixed. People are not dumb. People are not dumb. So it depends on the environment, depends on the location, Depends on what type of area, what type of city you're in. If you're in the land of super suburban white people, yeah, your phone, you're gonna get a knock within 2 hours after you park, maybe a half hour, maybe 10 minutes. But if you're in a diverse kind of urban environment, not the type of place where you get shot and killed for no reason, but you know, it's crimed enough where cops got more things to worry about than who's sleeping in their cars. You know what I'm saying? Granted, like every city, there are parts of this city, Lynn, Massachusetts, that if I went and parked on some random street, listen, I don't think anybody should randomly park on a residential neighborhood in front of somebody's home just for no reason. Look, you go find a main street somewhere and you park on the main street, like, or you go into a downtown area of a city like Boston and you find parking and you park there. That's how you blend in. That's stealth parking to me. Like downtown Boston, I'll give you like Newbury Street, Boylston Street, Arlington, Comm Ave, Charles Street. Go look those streets up, okay? And if I pulled over one night, like say 9, 10 o'clock at night, found a spot, if I found a spot, and I just parked, and now I'm stealth the way I am here, because I can have all my lights on full blast, and you walk by, you're not seeing anything. There's no light leaks anywhere around this van. All these windows are black at night, and it's lit up like a full stadium in here at night. Looks like a regular inside of a lit up apartment, but you can't tell from outside. That's stealth. If I'm sitting in this parking lot surrounded by other people living in cars and pickup trucks, and I mean, you'd have to kind of pay attention to it. You'd have to be one of them to notice. You know, you start to develop an eye for people that live in their cars. Just because you're looking for it. You're looking for that camaraderie. Like, oh, you live in your car too, you know? Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to shut up right now. But in my next video, I'm going to talk about why I'm in this van, why I chose it, and why I think I'm addicted to it. It's definitely an addiction, but there's a lot to talk about with that. I just don't want to make another 20-minute video. It's an addiction to live in a van. If you like living simple and you like keeping your money and you're comfortable, I don't know. I'd have to. I don't know if I'll ever get out of a van. I mean, I'm kind of in love with this van. I mean, when the transmission died, I almost cried. But at the same time, it's kind of a good feeling that it died, as opposed to being in the middle of Arizona, nowhere, Route 66 somewhere. Shit, I can't imagine. Anyways, yeah. If you don't do anything else, I would love for you to subscribe and comment and leave a like. But most importantly, leave a comment. I want to hear your story, and let's chat about it and change some war stories, you know, trade war stories. I would love to hear about your experience and what's different about your life, or how you just ended up in that situation, period, to begin with. And I'll talk about that in my next video, how I ended up here. I think just how in itself is a whole entire video. Anyways, peace out. Thanks for watching. Love you guys, and be safe.